Finding out what dwells beneath the soil of our past is always exciting. For multiple centuries, we have been discovering great artifacts, burial grounds, tombs, and wondrous buried aspects of ancient cultures, finally coming to light after millennia of concealment. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be taking a look at 3 recent archaeological discoveries. Medieval skeleton pulled from Thames, still wearing thigh-high leather boots. London's River Thames has been a staple landmark of England for centuries, but the river holds countless secrets, including the remains of a skeleton from 5 centuries ago. The bones were found during a Thames excavation project called the Thames Tideway Tunnel, meant to divert sewage from the river. This skeleton is not the only one found deep beneath the Thames, as people have settled around it for millennia. It is bound to have its own rich history hidden in the soil of its riverbank and bed. The skeleton had its face down and one arm up, and on his corpse was a pair of thigh-high riding boots, whose condition was only partially rotted. Beth Richardson, who works at the Museum of London Archaeology, commented on this finding. It's extremely rare to find any boots from the late 15th century, let alone a skeleton still wearing them. It might seem like boots are nothing special in the world of archaeology, but the discovery has undoubtedly shaken a plethora of archaeologists. This is because, as Richardson stated, the find is extremely rare. Of all past relics, boots and other such clothing items never survive long enough to be found and analysed by researchers. In the words of La Trobe's University of Melbourne's dress historian Hilary Davidson, historic clothing mostly survives accidentally, and the further back in time, the less there is. The majority of survivals are therefore elite or special garments that are exceptional compared with what the majority of people would have worn. Clothing is not just made to last for centuries. Having said that, when it is found, clothing from the past gives amazing insight into the individuals wearing them and the time period they passed away in. For this resident skeleton, his position and the fact he still had the boots on him suggests that he was a person of relative but not immense wealth. The boots were stitched together with flax thread and were of sound quality with reinforced soles. However, the style of the boot was unpopular during the time of his departure from life. These were unmistakably 14th or 15th century working boots. The man seems to have been a river fisherman and thus would have worn these boots to keep his legs from becoming wet. Furthermore, his skeletal remains showed his teeth were worn, as a sailor or fisherman's might be after years of running ropes through their mouths when tying ships to docks. Unfortunately, it is speculated that he had a sorrowful end to his life, as the boots would have likely been removed had he been buried by his family, as leather was valued at this time and often taken to be reused, thus suggesting the man was at the oldest in his mid-30s, perished in the midst of his work, be it from drowning or falling. Leather is significantly more durable than other fabrics, hence its survival in the mud of the Thames all these years. As more research is being conducted on the boots, we may receive further insight into the man and his life from 500 years ago. Archaeologists to scan the Great Pyramid of Giza with cosmic rays. It's no secret that the pyramids stand as an incredible architectural feat, and it's fair to say that the Great Pyramid of Giza is perhaps one of the world's most famous landmarks. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the only ancient wonder of the world still to exist intact today, and even in 2022, we are still finding out new secrets about it. A team of researchers plan to use advancements in high-energy physics to give us a window into more information about the pyramids. They plan on scanning the pyramid with cosmic ray muons to map the internal structure. This will allow us to see further into this majestic structure than we ever have before, in a research quest named the Explore the Great Pyramid mission. Of course, the pyramids have been very well researched, with the interior structure having been mapped out by archaeologists previously. We know that there are a number of different chambers, tunnels, and passages alike spread throughout the pyramid, with the pharaoh Khufu's corpse lying near the center of the tomb. As we have developed more and more technology, we have been able to take a closer look at the inside of the pyramids. These high-tech ventures are helping to drive archaeology forth, pushing us into a new era of discovery. In the late 1960s, Luis Alvarez, an American physicist, used muon tomography to scan the interior of the pyramid, covering 19% of the monument, but discovering no new chambers. Muon tomography, the method employed by Alvarez, uses cosmic ray muons to develop 3D images. Muons penetrate further than X-rays do, meaning we can get a deeper look, especially through thicker materials. In 2016 and 2017, this research took another leap, as the Scan Pyramids team also looked at the Great Pyramid. This team employed muon tomography too, a non-invasive research method. However, this study also managed to make use of infrared thermography, alongside a few other handy techniques. Infrared thermography involves using a thermal imager to track the radiation that comes from an object. This is done by monitoring the heat that is emitted. This is then converted into a temperature and is displayed as an image of the temperature distribution. The most significant finding that came from the 2017 research was that the team uncovered what has come to be referred to as the Big Void, a large gap of empty space, hence why it was named the Big Void, that sits above the Grand Gallery. This was considered one of the biggest scientific discoveries of the year and was presented in the journal Nature. Muons are a type of elementary particle. They can be likened to electrons, though they are significantly bigger. As mentioned before, they are particularly useful to tomography because of how far they can penetrate. Cosmic ray muons are formed from high-energy particles called cosmic rays crashing into Earth's atmosphere. They are composed of a mixture of atoms, largely high-energy proton and atomic nuclei fragments. These move into the Earth from various sources, from the Sun to things outside of the solar system and even from other galaxies. Upon the impact from the collision, secondary particles are produced, some of which are muons. While archaeology is a key field of opportunities for the muon tomography to be used, it has plenty of uses elsewhere too. For example, looking for banned items and materials in containers, or even predicting when volcanoes may erupt again. Like the teams that have researched before, the Explore the Great Pyramid mission will use muon technology to try and glimpse what the inside of the pyramids look like. The difference this time is that the telescope system will be 100 times stronger than it has been in the past. This increased sensitivity will help us look from more angles, giving us a much more complete and comprehensive perspective. The EGP mission will place very large telescope sensors outside of the Great Pyramid, which will move position slightly. The aims of the mission are as follows: to produce a detailed analysis of the internal structure of the pyramid. Unlike previous attempts, this mission will not just tell us what is stone and what is air, but rather tell us the different variations in density. The team also hopes to look at structural discontinuities to inform about the construction process. It's hoped that this can be done in just 2 years, due to the nature of the technology and the data that could be collected in what has been assessed as a low-risk research approach. So far, the team is happy and confident with the steps that have been produced and are satisfied that their new approach will give us more information than we have had access to in the past. As we continue to edit and amend research methods, we draw closer and closer to finding the most in-depth answers that we can. Israeli zoo finds Roman sarcophagi while building new animal hospital. You may be wondering what a sarcophagi is. Sarcophagi is the plural form of the word sarcophagus, which is essentially a coffin but made of stone and often elaborately decorated. They tend to be associated with ancient Greece, Rome, or Egypt, and would have held the bodies of aristocratic members of those dynasties. In mid to late February 2021, a group of construction workers at a zoo in Israel were tasked with building a new animal hospital. The task was not particularly groundbreaking, and as far as the workers were concerned, they were simply heading for another day on the job. The Ramat Gan Safari Park, where the hospital is to be located, is situated in the Israeli capital of Tel Aviv. The site covers some 250 acres, allowing various animals originating from the vast plains of Africa to be viewed by members of the public in a safari-style experience. Whilst the construction team were digging the foundations of the new hospital, they stumbled across two huge slabs of stone. They measured about 6'5" in length and baffled the excavators. None of the workers really understood what the structures were, but had them lifted out of the earth and handed them over to local archaeologists. A few days later, the Friends of the Israel Antiques Authority explained that the things were actually sarcophagi, and funnily enough had actually been discovered some 25 years earlier in another part of the park. However, the original discoverers of the sarcophagi, another group of contractors who had previously undertaken a building project at the zoo, did not think anything of them and simply dumped them in another part of the park. One of the sarcophagi had been damaged in the original find, and somebody had even tried to cover up the break with some concrete. The original contractors had intended to move the sarcophagi once they had finished their work, but the coffins were forgotten about and, over the years, were covered over by sand and vegetation. Until the present day, that is. The sarcophagi were decorated with flowers and discs, an ancient religious symbol thought to protect the deceased. Made of limestone, they were also fairly fragile, hence how one had been damaged previously. Researchers are not entirely sure who the sarcophagi belonged to, other than that they were of high social status. The tombs are not Jewish, as verified by research, but one academic did have a theory that they could be related to the Third Jewish Revolt against the Romans. The location of the zoo lies on the remains of what is thought to be an ancient city called Bnei Brak, which was connected to the revolt. However, once again, researchers cannot be completely sure. The tombs are not currently known to contain human remains, but scholars are confident that they belonged to a husband and wife, given the near-identical decorations on the sarcophagi. But what do you make of these recent discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.